So we got the transmission removed and we see that we have a leaky rear main seal on here. There's engine oil up inside here and it's all wet. The transmission output shaft seal was leaking as well. But since we're in it, we're going to go ahead and replace the rear main seal because we're this far into it already. That's the rear main seal. There's like a double seal in there. Man, that thing did not want to come out. It's like crazy. This is really the best way for an alternator setup on these inline 671. So if your air compressor is in the back, you can move it to the front. And then you see this bracket that's made here where it just bolts onto the transmission. A couple little welds on it. It's also connected on the back side here. So here we're pulling the donor trans out. It's got nice and tight down here. Looks real good. Only took about an hour to get it out of there. And you see the hang and balance pretty good right there. It's real clean inside, unlike the other one. The rod bearing's actually amazing. The other bus has a leaky rear main seal on it. This one looks pretty good. A little bit of oil in there, but nothing like the other one. Now this transmission was actually sitting, you can see where it was riding on that cradle there, which is a sign that your motor mounts are bad. If you don't have that, if you have a 4104 and the transmission sitting on there, or the cradle could be bent, but this one has had a little impact, but it's pretty flat. There should be about a 1/4 inch gap between the bottom of the transmission and the cradle support. We backed it right into there. I can just wiggle it over. So this is the flywheel facing on this 4104, which those little heat check cracks and stuff, we see that all the time. I'm never usually super concerned about those. But when I look at these, see that crack? And it goes all the way down through the side.
Yes.
And the same thing. Let's see if I can zoom in a little bit more. Look at that.
Oh,
Yeah, that's just one. There. There. See if I can get my... That one's a... And that really shows it for how deep it goes. This is about a 1/2 inch thickness, just to give some scale here. So those only go about halfway down as we're... See, it runs all the way to the very bottom. We were gonna just put this back together and use this clutch because he wasn't having any clutch issues. But digging through this parts pile here, a few flywheels, but none of them had surfaces on them. But I found a box with 2 brand new ones in there, and then I found a brand new clutch disc friction surface as well. And then we found also a brand new clutch disc, never been used. So we just got to get everything all cleaned up, but we've got all the new parts we need to replace it. And it's nice when you got just... Hey, you're lightening up your parts load too.
yeah.
So, cleaned up real good. This was the old. So on this flywheel, the pilot bearing that's supposed to be a pressed fit, it's just moving in and out here all on its own. So I'm going to take the center punch and dimple it, and then we'll also take the Loctite 660 and I'll scuff it up just a little bit on both the bearing and the inside here, and then tap it in, and it should be permanent. So on this clutch, we have these little adjustments here for the fingers that are some type of a spanner required to do it that I don't have, and they're extremely hard to turn. You know, it's supposed to have this kind of a bolt on it that adjusts that, and that raises the finger up or down. So I'm taking these off. There's no way I'd be able to make an adjustment in there. I made a tool to get in there, and it worked to break one of them free, and then once it was free I was able to kind of spin it out. These snap-on, what are they, AWP 120, I think that's the model number. They got a really good grip, and I'm able to grab the outside of them once it's on there and spin it off. It's destroying them coming off, but I've got new ones I'm putting on. If you understand how these work, it's like a taper that goes down in there. And that's on the finger itself. This was really, really hard. I can't tell you how hard it was to get these off. But we're replacing them now so we can make the adjustments easily once it's on, because there's just no way to turn these precisely or even easily once it's on the bus. So we're gonna fight this fight now. It's probably been an hour already that we've been fighting, and we've got 2 of them off. 4 to go. Kelly's operating the torque wrench. Quiet as can be. I couldn't hear you talk last time.
Wow. Third's a little hard. Yeah.
Fourth I'm concerned. If we can't get fourth,
Oh, we'll get it. I'll go down.
well, I'm just worried about that gear adjustment, because remember we couldn't get that in the shop.
There it is.
Okay, yeah.
Want me to drive it down here a little ways and check it out?
Nah, you're fine. I'm confident with it. Everything went together fine and felt real good. And
Look, I gotta get used to this.
yeah, well, it's a new transmission in there, and like I said, the linkages and we also switched around those pins, the clevis pins, because you had a lot of wear on one, so there's a lot less slop in it now. Usually any adjustment that I would make in the linkages would be like if you could hit third but not fourth, and then I would dial the back so that you had enough where you could go into third and into fourth. But if you're hitting both, the link adjustment should be good.
Yeah, it's just a little different, but I just have to get used to it. I'm so used to the other way. It sure is quiet back there.
The clutch pedal feel just a hair stiffer still, you think?
Just a little bit.
That's good.
Not a big change.
Well, I can tell you the ride in here is 90% quieter.
be roaring right now.
Oh yeah, no, it was. You were going 5 miles an hour before, and I could hear it. The engine is already warm. We went on a test drive, and the valve cover gasket, we put a new valve cover gasket, it was leaking. So we just resealed it up there again. We're gonna run it at RPM. Good. Those stamped steel valve covers, there's a little lip on the inside, and the corner of it had caught on the head, so it wasn't seated perfectly in the corner, and they had oil running down the front side of it, but it was good to go. We just got done washing mine all up. It was really dirty. I hadn't washed it in probably 2 months, and I've driven through the rain about 10 times. That's never good for it. But came out pretty good. So heading to Gainesville to work on a 4106, and then I'm going to be heading to Fort Lauderdale to work on a Bluebird with a, I think it's got a 6V92, could be an 892. It's a 92 series. I'm going to be replacing main bearings, rod bearings, something you should do about every 100,000 miles on those. Off to the next stop.